Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am so excited that you're here. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about the 7 signs that your soul is trying to expand your work as a healer or a channel or a medicine man, medicine woman, spiritual guide, whatever you might identify as. And because the thing is, at the point where it's time to expand, where it's time to move into something new or to really expand the way that you're working, there are signs, like your soul is sending you signs that it is time. And not everyone recognizes them. So this is why I am making this episode today. And what I mean by expand is basically take it to the next level. Take it to the next level of what you're capable of, the next level, the next layer of your soul gifts, and essentially stepping into a new version of you, a new identity within the work that you're doing with the people that you're working with. And this basically just means claiming more of you, more of your soul, more of your gifts, and aligning with your highest potential. And so the thing is, for some people, it feels like something is not quite right anymore, or they're feeling uninspired or unmotivated or burnt out, or like something is missing. And if that's the case, then this episode is definitely for you. It can also be that essentially there is a feeling of needing to shift something in the way that you're working, and you already know this, you can already feel this, or you might have even gotten some insights or downloads or intuitive nudges that yes, it is time to change something, it is time to step into a new version of yourself. And if that's the case, then this episode is also for you, because then you probably already know that you are meant to step into a new level. And the thing is, many people assume that expansion feels exciting and that claiming a new identity feels exciting, which, yes, at some point it can and it will. But in reality, at least in the beginning, it often feels really confusing and really messy and really uncomfortable. And it can even feel lonely because the many people around you might not be going through the same thing. So you might also feel a little bit isolated. So it doesn't have this essence of, this is so exciting, I'm so excited for this new version of myself. Like sometimes it literally feels the opposite. And this is then why people often don't recognize this point for what it is, because they're not feeling good and because it feels uncomfortable and because it doesn't feel exciting or expansive yet. And the thing is, it will most likely feel like you're outgrowing old identities, and there will be uncertainty. You might be questioning everything. You might be feeling like you're in between two different versions of yourself, and that rarely feels blissful or soft or beautiful. It can feel quite challenging and yeah, even scary to be in this position. So if you're kind of at this point and you've been finding it challenging, you're definitely not alone. And so let's just talk about the signs that your soul is really trying to steer you into the direction of expansion. The first one is that your current work no longer excites you the way that it used to. So you might have been doing healing work or channeling work or spiritual work for some time, and you might remember a time where it felt really exciting and where you were really excited to share this work and where you were really into it, basically. But you might have gotten to a point where that's not the case anymore. And you might be wondering if there's something that you're doing wrong, if you've just lost your passion for it, if this is just not the thing that you should be doing. But this is not really about losing your passion for this work in general. This is more about your soul no longer feeling fully expressed through your current work. Because the thing is, you are always growing and expanding and changing and shifting. And so you might have created more space for more aspects of your soul to come through, for more of your soul gifts to come through. But if you're still sticking to an old version or an old way of doing things, it can feel like your soul is not able to fully express anymore. And you may notice that you feel like sessions feel repetitive to you, or you're craving something more, something else, something different. And maybe you even keep thinking there should be more, there is something more, I can feel that there's something more. And essentially, you're missing the spark that you used to feel in the beginning. And this is one of the signs that it's time to step into something new. The next sign is that you no longer feel aligned with the identity that you have been connected to for a while. And this also happens quite easily because, you might have identified as this version of you, this version of the healer, this version of the channel, this version of the spiritual guide. But as I said before, because you're constantly expanding or growing or changing, at some point, this version of you just might not feel like this is you anymore. And it can then start to feel too small or too limiting, or just simply like, this is not me anymore. And you might then feel yourself outgrowing some of the things that you used to do or say or practice. And essentially what this means is that there is a part of you that craves a shift in the way that you work and that wants to align your work with the person that you have become. And this can then also lead to this friction or this frustration that says something is not right anymore. Another really interesting thing that I have experienced before and that I also frequently hear from clients is that clients or people ask you for something that you haven't claimed yet. Because the thing is, sometimes your community or the people that you're working with, or even just the people around you, recognize something in you or recognize your next level before you do. So they already know, they can already feel it, they can see it in you, like they literally see it in you. But you haven't claimed it yet, or you haven't actually seen it yet. You haven't been able to fully claim this for yourself. And the way that this comes through quite often is when people ask you things like, by the way, do you offer retreats? Or do you offer this and this training? Or do you offer this and this type of session? And you might be like, no, but, and then there's something in you that's like, actually, why not? Like, could I? Maybe I could. Maybe this would be exciting. And then there is this like spark in you that says like, yes, this is it. Like, this is the thing. Please listen to this. And you can feel a resonance when they ask you, but you haven't fully claimed it yet. And I mean, it doesn't even need to be people asking you for it. It could also be that you are seeing someone else, maybe another healer or another person who works in kind of the same fields that you do, doing something or offering something or moving towards something, and something in you is like, oh wow, I wish I could do that, or I wish I would do that, or this would be so cool if I could offer that, or if I could do that. And this is also a sign that there's some part in you that already knows this is the path that you're meant to take. Because if it excites you, if it intrigues you, if there's something in you that's like this spark, you know, that basically says, go in this direction. Because if someone inspires you, it usually means that there is a part of you that wants this, and a part of you that knows that you can have this too, or that you can do this too. And so listen to this. Listen to it when people ask you if you're offering whatever, and listen to it when you observe someone and there's a part in you that's like, oh wow, this is really cool, or this is really exciting, because that can also be a sign that it's time to step up. Another sign is that your old way of working simply feels heavy, and you might feel like you're over preparing, you're following different structures or different steps or different templates that you've been following for a long time. And there is a part in you that just feels really exhausted by it. And it might be that some of the things that you're doing, for example, I don't know, the way you prepare your sessions, let's say, or the way you prepare for a client, or the way you prepare to open your channel or whatever. And you might have done this in a specific way for a long time. Maybe it's the way you learned it. Maybe it's the way it first started to work for you really well. But it might be that recently it just feels very long, or very draining, or very just not right, basically. It doesn't give you anything. And oftentimes it's the case when we're doing things because we think we should do them in this way, and not because they actually feel good or nourishing or because they give us anything, but because we think, oh yeah, like this is just how you do it. And I see this often when people learn a specific way of doing something or preparing for something, and then they're like, oh yeah, but I have to take all of these steps. And maybe your soul, your higher self, has a different way of doing that, and a way that actually works better for you. And so if you find yourself forcing ways of doing things, or forcing a specific way of marketing your work or launching or something like that, really acknowledge the fact that it doesn't feel good. Because who said you have to do it this way? Like, nobody, I assume, is forcing you to do it in this way. So you are allowed to question that, and you are allowed to find a different way for yourself. So if that's the case, this is also often a sign that there is something in you that's like, there is a next level, there is something else, there is something that's actually more nourishing or more supportive than this old way that we've been doing it. Also, if you feel called to work with a certain mentor or a certain healer or do a certain session or do a specific thing, oftentimes this is a sign that your soul has recognized that this is the person, or this is the practice, or this is the training that you need to take, or who you need to work with, in order to align and to fully embody that next level that you're already moving towards. And especially if you, for example, feel drawn to work with someone and you don't actually really know why, because on paper it might be like, well, yeah, they're doing amazing work, but I'm not, like, logically it might not make that much sense. And if that's the case, but you feel the pull and you feel this, like, there's something there, this is often a sign that your soul knows something that you don't, or that your higher self knows something that you cannot yet grasp with your logical mind. And then it's on you to recognize that and to trust that, even if it doesn't make sense to your logical mind. And I've had this so many times where I just felt called to work with a specific person or go to a specific retreat or do whatever. And in my mind, I was like, why? Like, what is the logical reason for this? Like, what is the logic behind this? Because I cannot see it. And most of the time I wouldn't get the answer, and then I would go or sign up to work with this person, and then at some point I was like, yeah, okay, I can see it. I can see it now. But the thing is, oftentimes you only see it when you look back, once you've already done it, and you will not get the full answer, the full explanation before that, because your logical mind can't grasp it. But if you feel this pull to work with someone or do a specific thing, trust that, even if it doesn't make logical sense. And honestly, at this point, I just trust this feeling inside of me 100%. And if there's a place I need to go to or a person I need to work with, and in my mind it doesn't make sense, I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, it will probably make sense after I've done it. And I just had this experience a couple of months ago where I was so called to go to a specific retreat, and in my mind I kept reading the sales page, and I was like, yeah, but do I really need that? Like, what is the why? I can't see it. Like, where's the why? Why am I doing this? Why should I be doing this? So I just kept kind of waiting, and because I first felt the call last year at some point when I first saw it, and then I was like, okay, yeah, let me just make that decision at a later point. Maybe it will go away, maybe it's just whatever. But it just kept coming back. And the thing was, logistically, it was quite inconvenient, let's say. And it was a lot of money. It was a lot of, like, travel. And logically, it was just like, well, that's a lot of effort for a 7-day retreat that I don't even know why I need to go to this. And yeah, but in the end, like, I couldn't ignore it, because I can't ignore those things, because I know from experience, from so many experiences, that I have never regretted signing up for something, even if I hadn't seen the connection or the logic in it before. And I've never regretted listening to my intuition. I've never said, oh, I wish I hadn't listened to my intuition back then. I wish I had let my mind let me talk there. I wish I had let my mind talk me out of it. I think you know what I mean. Like that just never happened. So yeah, if there's a call, listen to it, even if it doesn't make sense, because there's so much more than our logical mind can grasp. And I can promise you, if you learn to listen to those kinds of nudges and pulls, your entire life will change so quickly, because you're literally on the fast lane to soul alignment, basically, because what you're listening to is the voice of your soul and the guidance of your soul. So yeah, I mean, do what you want, but I from my experience, it's the best thing you can do. Even if it's scary, even if you're like, why am I here? Why am I on this plane now that's taking me to this place that's really far away? Da da da. And then afterwards, I was like, yeah, I really, really, really needed that, and I can see it now. So anyway, let's move on to the next sign. So if you're receiving ideas or downloads or nudges or information that you simply cannot ignore any longer, that's also a sign, obviously. And it's a more obvious sign than the ones that we've talked about before. But because sometimes it's just a feeling, sometimes it's just the sense of, oh yeah, there should be something more, or there should be something else. But sometimes it's quite full on, and it might be a full on vision or a dream or a download or a knowing or something that you've channeled or something that's quite obvious, basically. And you might just feel this pull to something bigger. And I don't know, it can be something like you just feel or know, or you keep receiving this thought of, I should start a podcast, or I should write a book, or I should offer this and this, or I should trust this in this way that my sessions want to unfold. And I mean, that's quite clear, right? And then your task is not to find out what it is, because you already know, but to start trusting what you've received. And that's quite an obvious way that your soul is saying to you, there is a new level, there is a new way. And if this is more connected to like your work specifically, it could also show up as being in a session, doing something, and then just getting the strong insight or the strong nudge or the strong pull to do it in a different way, or to do something different, or to say something specific to your client, or to try something that you've never tried before. And then this is also a sign that your soul is like, yeah, there is something else here. And then this is also a sign that your soul is saying, you're ready, like you're ready to move forward. Yeah, and I've had all of these experiences before, where, for example, and I've mentioned this in previous podcast episodes, where essentially I was in a session and I just kept getting this download, this voice saying, do the healing, like do this specific thing to also heal what you've just told your client. Because back then I was doing Akashic record reading, so I was only sharing information, basically. But what started to happen at some point was that instead of only sharing information, I just got this very strong pull to also then go on and clear the block or heal the wound or heal the past life. And the thing was, I had never done that before at that point. And so it took me a while to trust that, but this was also quite an obvious way of my soul to say to me, like, look, this is how your work is meant to unfold. Like, this is the thing that you're meant to be doing. And essentially, this is why I am doing the work that I'm doing now, because I at some point started trusting this, and then it led me deeper and deeper and deeper into healing work. And so now I'm doing healing work. And so this can also be a way, if you feel that something needs to change or something needs to shift, or you're actually getting quite clear information about what you're supposed to change, then this can also be a sign or a way of your soul talking to you and basically saying, look, you're meant to level up now. And another sign is what I just said. You're being asked to trust your soul more than your training. And this is what a lot of healers, a lot of spiritual guides experience at some point, that you feel more and more and more intuitive ways of working coming through. And this is exactly what I just mentioned, where you suddenly feel called to move beyond the things that you've learned and beyond the ways that you used to do healing or whatever it is that you're offering. And a lot of us have accumulated a lot of knowledge, and you might have accumulated different trainings and different tools and different modalities. And at some point, what will most likely happen is that there seems to be something that's coming from inside, like from a deeper place in you, where you don't even know where that's coming from. And this usually happens at a point where you've done quite a lot of healing work and where you have started to open up to your soul's original blueprint and your soul's unique transmission, where you started to open up to that. And this is usually the point where you will feel the sense of something else is coming through here that I'm not really sure where this is coming from or how I know this, but I just do. And this is another one of the quite obvious signs that your soul is saying there is a next level, there is a different way for you to work. And it's not easy to trust that. And I know that a lot of people are really struggling with this, because it kind of feels like you're breaking the rules, or it feels like you're abandoning the training that you've had, or you're kind of doing something wrong, because you've never been taught this way of working. And from my experience, that was definitely what I felt, because I had never done healing before. At least not in this lifetime. So obviously there were a lot of parts in me that were like, you cannot do this. What if you're doing something wrong? What if you're causing harm? What if blah, blah, blah? And I see that in a lot of people, and there's a lot of fear to let this part of you, or this inner wisdom, come through in your work with clients, because of course you're scared that you're doing it wrong, because you've never done this before and nobody has taught you this. And so, especially like with the way we grow up, where we get like certificates for everything, and kind of someone says, okay, now you're certified to do this, and now you're certified to do that. It's quite rare that you find someone just serving with what they naturally and intuitively know and can do. And it's really not something that's encouraged in most societies, I would say, because, I mean, if you just look at the normal school system, at least in like Western Europe, where I grew up, which child, if you go to a normal public school, is encouraged to really step into their unique gifts and their unique strength and their unique talents? It's like, this is what you have to learn, this is how you have to learn it, and either you're good at that or you're not. And it's a very I feel it really kind of stops children from learning that they are really good at something. Because if you're not good at the things that you are supposed to be good at in school, which is a very small amount of things, right? And a very limited way of learning as well. Because if you're not good at learning from a textbook or learning things by heart, so you can then kind of just write them down when you have an exam, if you're not good at that, if you happen to not be good at that, then basically you're just bad in school. And what I feel is that, I mean, there are so many other incredible talents that people have that for some of them, they're never recognized in their entire lifetime because they grew up thinking, well, I'm not good in school, I'm not as good as everyone else, so I'm not talented, I don't have any talents, because they were never allowed to actually discover what it is that they're good at, because everyone is good at something. And I feel like I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but what I want to say is it's normal that you feel that something that is just, quote unquote, just coming in from inside of you is not good enough, and that you would have to kind of learn it somewhere or have someone else give you permission to do it this way, or have someone else prove that yes, this you can do it this way, or it's good this way. It's normal to feel that, because when were you ever encouraged to approach something in this way? Probably never. And so it's normal to feel like, okay, I shouldn't be doing this, or this is not enough. It's not enough if it's just coming from my soul. It's not enough if it's just coming from inside of me. And I think this is really, it's such a shame, because yeah, we would see so many more people really thriving in the world if they were allowed to really follow what they feel called to do and to explore. And if we would just allow children and people to follow their intrinsic and unique motivations, I think we would just see so much more beauty and magic if everyone was just allowed to do whatever they feel called to do, and not judged by, well, it doesn't fit into that system, it doesn't fit into the school system or the university system or whatever, so that must mean that you're not good at anything. And yeah, so just know that it's normal to feel this way. And yeah, in general, on this journey, when you're at the brink of stepping into a new level, claiming a new identity, it's normal that you feel maybe a little bit excited, but also terrified at the same time, because you are stepping into something new. So if your next step kind of feels exciting, kind of feels expansive, kind of feels meaningful, and you feel called to to move forward or to change something or to shift something, and it simultaneously activates fear or the sense of, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this, I'm not sure if I should be doing this. Like, this is the sign that you're moving out of your comfort zone, and this is the sign that you are stepping into a new version of yourself. So this is good. It's good if it scares you to some degree. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing it. It doesn't mean that it's not the right path to follow. It just means that there are parts in you that are like, I haven't done this before. I don't know how to do this. I'm not sure if I can trust this. So yeah, there's fear and there's resistance. But that's what this is about, right? Like I assume that if you're here, you're looking for growth and you're looking for expansion and you want to do this thing. And yeah, I mean, whenever you're growing beyond the familiar, you're being stretched, you're being asked to make more space in you, and that can hurt and it can feel uncomfortable, and that's really normal. And all of this being said, if you feel that you're at this point, at the brink of there's something else, there's something new that you're meant to step into, and you can feel it and you know it, but you don't really know how to do it, or if you should do it, or if you can do it, or if there's fear, or you're kind of feeling like, I'm not sure if I can do this alone. This is why I'm so excited that I have just recently launched my new program, Ancient Soul, which is a 3-month program for healers and spiritual guides and channelers and light workers to really help them tap into their next level and into their unique transmission and into the thing, the energy that they're here to share. And this is for you if you know that your next level isn't about learning more tools or doing another training or another certificate. It's really if you feel like there's something deeper, like there's something that wants to come from inside of you and not from the outside. Because there are times and places for bringing in information and bringing in training from the outside and learning from other people and picking up that knowledge and integrating that. And there are times where you have to let what wants to unfold from within you, from your own unique soul blueprint, where you have to allow that to come to the surface. And if you're at that point, this is what Ancient Soul is for, because it will really help you access that. It will help you clear the things that are holding you back from accessing it. It will help you clear any fears or blocks that you might have, including the fear of being seen, the fear of judgment, anything around confidence, anything around trusting yourself, and also anything that's holding you back from really claiming that new identity. Because what we're actually doing in this program is we are preparing you for your next level of impact, for your next level of visibility, for your next level of abundance, your next level of clients, your next level of reality, basically. And I mean, the thing is, yes, we're focusing on your soul gifts and your unique transmission. So I'm not marketing this program I'm not specifically saying, well, this will give you more clients, this will give you more money, this will give you better relationships. But the thing is, chances are very high that it will, because when you shift into a way of being and into an identity that is more aligned with your unique soul's blueprint, these things just happen as a byproduct. And I mean, that's also what I've experienced in my own life. Whenever I focused on leveling up in my work, and getting closer to my actual essence, getting closer to my unique soul gifts, the result was that my entire reality shifted. Not just my work, because it's not separate from everything else, but my relationships, the abundance that I was able to call in, the type and the quality of clients, and the amount of clients that I was able to call in effortlessly. And yeah, so Ancient Soul is really for you if you're ready to fully embody your unique transmission. And if you know that there is a next level of your work, and it's one that nobody can teach you. It's one that lives inside of you, and that you're ready to access now at this point in time. So this will help you to reconnect with the ancient wisdom that lives inside of you. And yeah, as a result, you can then stop looking outside of yourself for permission or for proof or for information, but you can really start to trust what is coming from inside of you. And this will shift everything. And I mean, this is what I've been doing for the last couple of years, several times on my journey. And I am so excited to take people on this journey, because I really believe that we need more healers and more spiritual guides who are really, 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 really embodying their unique gifts and their unique blueprint, and who are willing and ready to bring back the past life gifts that they have and the ancient wisdom that is stored in their soul. Because I really feel that at this point in time, we really need this. We need more than people who are just doing whatever everyone else is doing. Like, we really need you to connect with the highest transmission that you came here to bring through in this lifetime. So if that's calling you, you can find the link in the podcast notes. You can find it on my website, on my Instagram, everywhere. And if you have any questions, please do let me know. Spots are limited, as always, because I really want to make sure that I can support everyone personally. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope this episode was helpful for you. Do let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a beautiful day or night, wherever you are. Thank you for listening, and I'm sending you so much love.